to balance that aggression with also maintaining safety up in the top side. We'll see how Driver does this. To be honest, we haven't seen a lot of footage of him excelling on these champions. Even on the Jax earlier on, he was pushing very hard. So that's a big point of worry for me. But for the mid jungle, this is going to be fireworks on level 6. There are just so many resets. If they get a kill, they can charge forward. They can get whole new cooldowns on the Viego. And I think if, honestly, PSG make one mistake, it can snowball incredibly hard in favor of JT.
J-Team will be counting on it, but PSG going to be going for a little bit of fun up top right now, and Driver is well within the safety of his tribe rush, but that isn't going to stop PSG Talon from trying a little bit of cheesy cheese.
Crucially here, it isn't spotted up by Driver, so it means that there will be no counter invade from the side of JT. They do have the numbers for it, but they don't have the information for it. So far, everything's going to be kind of close. I do like this ward dropped into the top lane. It's always very helpful for the game plan to have vision of the Jace, especially level 1. Jace can just come up, get the W on, and just like triple tap you. And it's very annoying and very difficult to out-trade that. So getting the early ward down will allow Hanabi to avoid a lot of that level 1 pressure.
That's true. Johan and Bay comboing up. The new mid-jungle duo for PSG, picked up from NS Red Force over in Korea, has definitely made a splash. I think they've just slotted really well into the team, as Bay does get a decent trade level 1. I'm curious to see what he can do on this Vex. We have seen his understudy, Pretender, shine on this champion, although he is taking a lot more than he's dishing at level 1 against the Ahri.
Yeah,
and
Enzo actually looking for on that side. Enzo, just gonna miss.
A little bit of a whiff on their engage, and Lil V's in trouble. Rockets flying, and the flash, the heal, the follow. Are we gonna get an early first blood? We are, and we're off to the races with Unified.
And as we said in the pregame, this bottom lane usually goes in favor of PSG. That was probably the worst traded level 1 I have ever seen. Enzo misses on the E. And then somehow Little V walks ahead of his support, giving Kaiwing an easy dredge line. So, I don't know if it's communication or execution or something, but that was very poorly played on the side of JT, giving an unexpected just level 1 kill right out. We'll watch this again. So once Enzo misses the E, both of them should be heading backward. Instead, Little V actually walks forward from his support. Kaiwing isn't going to let that slip. Instant ignite to stop the heal. And he's just dead right afterwards.
You talked about how little mistakes can be pretty easily punished by Kongi and Uniboy. I think the same can be said of Unified and Kaiwing.
Yeah, this is going to be a very ugly early game. It's going to get pushed in, outranged by the Rockets, and with no summoners. There's so many different ways that PSG could play this. We have Zins out in the vicinity of the bottom side, and with the lane pushing out. So Kongi most likely does have to pay this lane a visit here. They honestly could just go again onto Little V. We do have Kongi here now, at least trying to clear this lane up.
Juhan's going to be here as well, so it would be a 3v3, but you definitely got to start paying a little extra attention down on that bot side now that Unified has reenacted the opening second arc of Arcane.
Yeah, I remember that one, and I also remember the closing. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's basically Jinx about to kill a lot of people. So
yeah, if you haven't seen it yet and you're listening to us right now, finish watching this game and then go watch it. It's amazing. It's incredible. Arcane's a great show.
So proud about that from Riot. Honestly, it's like Riot music, Riot shows. Just at times you almost feel like we're like a multimedia company.
I know we're on an official broadcast and all, but like. Seriously, I didn't even expect it to be that good. I was angry at how good it was. I was like, this has no right to be this incredible.
I feel like the characters were so well written. They weren't cardboard copies of like Hollywood tropes and stuff like that. And there was actual morality being discussed in the show, which I feel like is so lacking these days. And like usually, like, Hollywood's just trying to run a universe, and there's like shows on shows on shows with very forgettable villains and people with just motives that don't make sense. But Arcane was really something else. It was a breath of fresh air, and honestly, it was done by a person without a lot of show business experience. So
sometimes that's what you need, I guess.
Yeah, you need a shake-up here.
Yeah.
And talking
now,
about the
that
top
being
lane,
said,
okay,
Jinx,
go ahead.
Jinx might be busted in Arcane. Still busted in League of Legends, but it takes a little while to get to that point. And I think what we're seeing right now is a very healthy gold advantage, but Kaiwing doing a good job of setting up opportunities for his team as Ento is caught again into the Flame Chomper combo, burning the flashes. You can't take your eye off this bot lane for a second, but here's Kongye coming in and spotted on a ward.
This feels so bad for Kongye. He's pretty much glued to this bot lane 24/7, and Uniboy's roam bot lane has also been spotted out, so he's just kind of wasting time at this point. This is, we have to talk about some of these item builds here. It is very detrimental to Xayah because Xayah in today's meta, a lot of times she is relying on that serrated Dirk burst to get her through the early game. We have talked about just kind of the Q maxes coming out from this champion. So if she misses that window, she really has to go into much later into the team fight to have the same impact as kind of these crit champions earlier on. So it just looked kind of dire in the situation. And from my perspective, it might be better if Kongre can find a pathing to just say, okay, bot lane, you guys, you did this to yourself. I'm going to leave this lane. You guys have a good time. Don't die. Wait for me to carry, but I'm going to need to go somewhere else.
Yeah, Kongye is still waiting on level 6 when he'll have access to the Heartbreaker. We should see him trying to open up here. But of course, Juhan won't be far behind, and the Xin Zhao can definitely set up some good engages for the team, even if he isn't going to be the one claiming the kills for himself. As you start to see ults coming in, PSG with an advantage in the game, off of bot. And now Juhan is here. They can set up for, not necessarily a dive, as Lil V is quite away, but it is a pretty hefty experience gap between those bottom laners. It's actually just going to be the Hextech Dragon start.
And I do want to point out that in terms of scaling, PSG does have the upper hand by quite a lot. Gangplank he does outrange Jason a lot of instances in the late game, and he will get that extra gold. Same thing with Vex. I feel like Vex can play as just a standard control mage, while Ahri is more of an assassin. She does need to keep ahead. And also the Jinx scaling versus Xayah do favor the Jinx a little bit as well. So J-Team, they really need to be super aggressive. They really need these early lane ganks to work and convert on some of these supposedly winning matchups that aren't doing so well.
That's going to be tough because then we start to see J-Team, fall into that pattern, right? When they don't get what they need done in the early game or with the mid-jungle 2v2, we see them fall back on Lil V. And, I mean, Lil V opened up with a death, so it's a little bit of a feels bad man. He's also not on quite as much of a hyper carry as we're used to seeing. I mean, we kind of lost this in the noise, but he's not played anything but Jinx Aphelios in this split so far.
True.
Because teams haven't really focused on him a little bit, and I do want to give PSG credit for doing the takeaway Jinx, realizing, hey, it's by far his most favored champion, and it has been a big part of the handshake. It's not that he's bad on Xayah in particular, it's just they kind of rely on that late game hyper carry. They've taken it away a bit.
Yeah, and we'll see how familiar Lil V is on these new champions. One thing about Lil V I felt like has been true throughout his career is that he's actually been very willing to be the first mover on some of these new picks, especially if you think about the past. Xayah was definitely one of them. He was kind of the first one to really popularize that in the LMS back then as well. So, seeing on this champion deck again isn't too surprising here. Looking at the holistic scape of the map right now, I do feel like JT have a very strong crowd control chain coming into the bot lane. You have the Ahri Charm, Viger, Viego Stun into the Leona just starting things off. So I feel like if I'm J-Team, even with this deficit, I'm still willing to search for some kills in that bottom side. I feel like that skirmish could be a good opportunity for them to come back as Juhan does the most obvious shove-in the world.
That was a really good dodge out of both the Charm and the Orb, though. Juhan with the fancy feet that time around. PSG are going to try to throw their weight around this map just a little bit. Kongye actually making a trip in mid after the fact. This is going to be a Herald start that has been spotted out. We'll see if it's opted to be contested. I think J-Team have decided, you know what, that's not worth it. We do realize we have a window here to try and push with the lane swap coming in. Maybe they can dive Hanabi.
We'll see if they can actually pull that off, but of course Hanabi can just play it safe with the Cannon Barrage and just leave the lane completely. So it's usually very difficult to out-trade a Gangplank like this. This is one of PSG's oldest tricks. If you're playing weak side top lane, then it has to be your go-to, but they're going to try for it anyway.
go for the Nautilus. Kaiwing takes a lot of damage, and he does get fired down. That's going to be the reset there for Kongye. Let's see if Hanabi can hold the line here. I don't think so. Follow through on Vex. Do they have the damage to follow through? So much aggro juggling, and it means J-Team get out scot-free. But meanwhile, up top, they're going to make J-Team pay for it.
Yep, they are going to get the first tower in this play right there. So J-Team does get 2 kills, but in the meantime, PSG take the full turret, which does put the gold lead up in Unified's end. And, you know, this is kind of the double threat of PSG. You shut down their top laner, Unified gets massively ahead and is very much on course for, I think he could just finish his Mythic on his next back. So
right.
we're going to watch this again. Just good scouting here, and they actually undercut the path that Kaiwing was going to take. You could tell his ward onto Krugs, didn't spot anything out, dies immediately. And this play was a little bit unfortunate for Bay. You know, in a 3v4 situation, you do expect to get a kill right here, but the fear actually taunts away, and he doesn't get any walk back. You know, we have seen some plays, especially from Pretender, where he does flash before during the Shadow Search just to make sure that he gets that extra fear back into the tower. And, you know, Bay holds on to this flash, plays it a little bit safer there. But, you know, honestly, I feel like that play, there was a potential for a double Shadow Surge into double kill. But, you know, just small things missed out, doesn't really matter. They still get the winning trade.
Yeah, could have had more, but at the same time, I think PSG will be happy with that turn of events overall. They do crack the top tower. Unified definitely seems to be much more the win condition, although this Vex is still going to remain a threat. Small CS deficit up against the likes of Uniboy. That shouldn't be too much of an issue there for Bay to rectify. He does have a level down, however. That's worth keeping in mind. And we are back to, well, I would say a 2v2, but Enzo is not in the bottom side of the map right now, making his way.
Interesting trade coming in from PSG. So they went top, took a first tower, and then immediately swapped back, which puts both side lanes in a very awkward position. Bot lane's getting pushed in, top lane has a super long lane while behind, so J-Team's answer is to send everyone bottom to find a skirmish and potentially a Drake. But for PSG, they don't have to respond to this at all. They could just continue to farm up top and be happy with the gold lead.
Yeah, they're going to sift this out. Dragon is taken. Rocket for the potential steal attempt. Yeah, I mean, when no one's stopping Hanabi topside, well, all right. I mean, you put a lot into shutting him down, and all of a sudden he's going to be able to get that gold right back for himself. It does feel like J-Team are getting a little out-rotated here, and that has been a hallmark of PSG games this split.
It's not a bad move per se by J-Team, but if you want to do that, the best case scenario is you have to find a pick onto someone. You have to go pretty aggressive and make sure that you can actually secure the 5v4 lead. In this instance, I would call it a win for PSG. I feel like they're perfectly happy with just hard forcing this first Mythic. Triforce already done onto Hanabi, and this is where Kongye and Uniboy have to find something to work out.
Kongye does already have a kill. He wants to get another one. They do manage to get the stun off onto Bay. He wants his personal space, though, and they're going to turn this one back around with a little bit of help from Kaiwing.
Shadow Surge!
Shadow Surge intercepted by Enzo. He knew Uniboy was a dead man, and that was a nice turn. Kaiwing with a save. Well played.
Yeah, nice mechanics from Bay. He dodges out of the Heartbreaker Strike, so not enough damage to actually get the reset there. And I felt like that was a play where, oddly enough, it looked like Uniboy wanted to go, but Kongye didn't really want to fully commit onto that one. They were walking into a 2v3. PSG anticipate the rotation. They did have the ward early, and just a beautiful, beautiful punish. Now they can just plump down on this bottom side.
You know something is a bit scuffed with your dive when Kongye doesn't want to go in.
Yeah. That felt like the case from Uniboy on that one. It looked a little bit dicey there. He had to go into the Crescent Guard to deal damage if the target was Bay, and also just Kaiwing was waiting around in the corner. And now Uniboy knows. Now Uniboy knows.
But Bay gets a kill on the board as well, so this Vex is going to start rolling a little bit. Let's see how this shakes out. Gold advantage. About 2,000 in favor of PSG Talon. Dragons, one apiece. We do have another Cloud Soul. A lot of Cloud Souls today.
The most exciting of souls, if I have to say so.
Definitely not called Clown Drake, obviously.
Yeah, but it does give a sizable lead to the team that has that split push potential. Gives you rotational advantages here and there, and right now it should go over to Gameplank. The way that PSG has played with the Gameplank is just eye-opening. This has been a staple pick for them for multiple splits, and all the way back to the Flash Wolf days, even for Hanabi. So they understand how to trade on this one. If you overload a side of the map with Gameplank, you usually come out ahead, just because you can wave clear at minimal cost, and you just get a lot out of the other side. So I really like the change that PSG did. You know, take top 10 tower, get a huge lead, and a mythic onto your AD carry, then swap back and continue to just pressure a little V, not give away anything on the map. And yeah, I just feel like J-Team's time is like slowly ticking away again. This is a composition that does have to stay ahead and continue to be ahead. Oh, Juhan?
Yeah. Double eclipses. Oh, Juhan is going to get caught. Crescent Guard stands strong, though. And even with the man advantage, it does mean that... oh, they're going to go in for round 2, finding Bay. Charm lands. Can they burst the Vex? They absolutely can. And bit of a misfire there for the PSG mid laner.
Yeah, they were looking at a straight-up 3v3, but with Crescent Guard already down, they really couldn't take that one. And now we see J-Team finally being able to extend this lead. We haven't noticed this, but in the meantime, all the kills have been going to Komure. 3 kills already, Divine Sunder completed. Well, that's a win condition in and of itself.
Yeah, it's funny. Any team Kongye is on always has a win condition of give him a carry and get him fed, but we're going to have to see how well that works out for him right now. So Herald killed and picked up. Driver's going to have some free farm. It will be a trade as Hanabi does manage to get bot turret, but I mean, this is pretty big for J-Team. They would love to get revenge for last week and to take another win up against the likes of PSG Talon. Only team been able to do it so far this split is Megabank Beyond Gaming.
And that was the first game of the split when they weren't really gelled together just yet. I do expect PSG right now to be a lot stronger, especially with the much more visible coaching from Corki. I'm not sure Corki was even there on the first week. I don't think I saw him there.
That's a good point, actually. But it's also tradition, right? Like, we've kind of established now that that Beyond Gaming get the like favored rival status after their performance last year, coming into this split, coming into the PCS in 2021, and just taking it by storm. Having an incredible back-to-back 2 series between the effectively the semifinals and the finals against PSG Talon. I mean, that we just got to see so many games between those two, and it was beautiful. Obviously, Worlds was a little bit of a different story, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't. Well, it was a different team back then. It doesn't even matter now.
I hope Doggo's doing well.
You know, BLG still has his trouble, but Doggo still has a good chance to start over Uzi, and that's definitely saying something. J-Team now have a great chance to just poke out PSG, and a lot of damage going over onto the side of Bay. They also have that ward around Raptors, which is absolutely massive. Allows them to know the exact timing of people coming down the ramp here, but they're not able to hold it, and the fight starts.
Engage from Kaiwing. Oh, that's huge burst right now. Do they have enough damage? Enzo is going to go into stasis. Driver, though, dropped. Lilvi as well. Massive damage as Unified opens up with a big old double kill, and Kongye Uniboy heading for the hills. That was not something J-Team expected. I think a massive engage, and this is the team cohesion. Kaiwing goes in, and everyone on PSG are all in on it.
My jaw is still on the floor. That was so beautiful. I have a teardrop on my cheek right now. Just watch that combo again. You know, it was Death Charge, forcing everyone back, and then you have Bay just swooping in, getting the fear. They're all taunted up, and you also have the Crescent Guard that knocked people back. That was just, this is the best team fight scene that we have seen the entire day, and most likely the entirety of the PCS. That was completely one-sided, execution to perfection. Oh, the Wombo combo of the year.
Clement, can you give me a chef's kiss for that one? Because I think it deserves it. Beautiful.
How do you say terrific in French? I can't remember.
Terrifique? I don't know.
I think
I'm guessing.
Like
I'm like full guessing there. I lived in Germany, dude. I didn't learn French. But I can say that was you could say fantastique probably. I don't know.
Okay.
Either way, that was beautiful. I mean, PSG Talon looking so incredible, and yeah, that was. I'm kind of still in shock a little bit myself. I'm like, wow, because on the second hand, like I saw the start of the engage, and then like looking at Bay coming in, I'm like, oh, that was perfect, absolutely perfect. I can imagine he's gonna save that. He's gonna clip it and be like, "Hey, Pretender, look at that."
That's why you're staying on Frank, by the way.
Oh no, the PM.
Oh,
I mean, I think
boy.
the better's been looking good, but yeah, this is.
That was on another
it's
level. Just
execution.
team-wide, I don't think we've seen anything close to that coordination
Yeah.
in the PCS.
This is what PSG can do.
Yeah,
So good, man. Oh.
I wonder how they shot called that. You know, or maybe that's something that we could ask in playoffs once we get Rairachu back. That was
I would absolutely want to ask about that. Also, I'm going to be very disappointed if I wake up tomorrow and that's not on the League subreddit. Someone clip that. It was gorgeous.
Yeah, someone has to go and do it. Let's just.
Ugh. Okay, anyways,
you know,
into this game, PSG have a pretty healthy gold lead. J-Team do manage to get a tower back, but look at this siege down the mid lane. Oh, Kongye very close as he's forced to blast Cone away. And so does dodge the zap. This tower's going down. He wants to flank. I don't think he's going to be able to get it. Because even though the Kongye win condition is starting to roll forward, the issue is it's not happening as fast as the Unified and Bay win condition.
And they also need to be very careful about who goes in first. They need someone to soak up the crowd control. Enzo would be a target, but he's also pretty squishy.
He's not soaking that fast, unfortunately. There they go. Kaiwing ends up with the kill credit for it, but a lot of work was done. And of course, the cannon barrage dropped from downtown as Hanabi secures the kill. That's going to be Driver and Enzo out of this one. And I think we might be looking for a Baron bait here. J-Team have to know something's up. You can't stop this. Kongye could try for a steal, but you've got no flash.
They do still have a blue trinket, and they know that the Baron hasn't been taken just yet. PSG trying to cause some misdirection right there. I do like that play. There is a split second where you still have vision, even if you drop the blue trinket there. So Juhan trying to bait them to move forward. Very clever 200 IQ play. We'll watch this again. Of course, Enzo has to be the first one in front, so the formation is fine. But Kaiwing over the wall onto Driver. He dies before even getting an inch of damage down. Absolutely beautiful stuff. And with the crowd control still intact, Beauty Boy and Kongye can't go in either. This is just a tempo team comp being completely outplayed on the objectives.
Yeah, and with teleport advantages too, have to keep in mind as Faye gone for the full combat summoner stack once again with the Ignite. But of course, Hanabi doesn't even have to expend his to get involved in that fight. He can just drop down the cannons. Meanwhile, J-Team going to try to clear out their own jungle of wards, but it's a dangerous business right now, as PSG could be lurking in just about any brush.
There's so many targets that they could just go for. Not even Beauty Boy has a Zhonya's right now, so he could just simply die to the burst if they do find the Shadow Surge. If I'm PSG, I'm very willing to take these engages here. They're pretty much just waiting for Nabi to come into position, as he does not have the TP here. And I just feel like for J-Team, I'm not sure about this play. I don't think PSG are going to be frightened about losing control of this top side. They still have the cannon barrage that could almost take everyone down to half HP, and that just means that they could full wipe J-Team without even being close to the objective. Just cannon barrage and Bay going in, and likely enough to kill the whole team.
Yeah, gives them a lot of options. It's one of the things that Global Ultimates can do for you, in addition to having the teleport at the ready, which Hanabi still is a ways off from getting. Now Cloud spawning in a couple of seconds. Ooh, Uniboy going a little too close, but that could have been some bait there as he is able to recognize in time and walk away. Waves getting swept clean by both Bay and Unified, and this should be a very easy Drake take for Juhan. Should just take it solo, or maybe with a little bit of help from the Jinx. Meanwhile, the rest of PSG can hold the line in mid.
So I'm trying to think of how can J-Team actually come back into this one, and for me, the most important part is you have to feed Driver. You have to get him to that mirror mana. He's the one with the long-range poke on the team, and if he gets a couple lucky shots on, he could just stop PSG from taking a full Baron here. Also, Uniboy needs to be a little bit better on those charms. Haven't seen them.
Okay, there's the Shadow Surge. Into Kongye, look at the damage. He's already dishing for the full engage on the Vex. Enzo now trying to buy some time for his team, but Juhan does not care as he just moves his way forward in the Crescent Guard, just ending. Finally, Lil V is able to take him down, and that's a 1-for-1 trade, but it's not going to stop the push of PSG just yet here. Huge damage onto Lil V from Bay once again, as he even gets the Fear proc on. And they can just keep chasing. However, you can see Driver around the side was looking for a flank angle, but I don't know if he's going to be able to get the deletion. You need a little bit more penetration than he got right there on just
Overall,
the Eclipse and the Muramana.
Not that bad for J-Team. They actually only trade 1-for-1, and they don't even lose vision for that. So I actually consider it somewhat worthwhile. If Juhan just stepped back, they would be in a much worse position. But
Driver actually got that scuttle. That's big too for Baron. But
yeah,
let's see the fight again.
The engage timing, I think, was absolutely correct. They saw Driver on the top side. They know it's a clear 5v4. Go right in. They also have a flank of Juhan cutting off the sides. So it just means J-Team have to burn flashes to get away from this one. Unfortunately, Juhan does make one mistake right here, which is going in for the kill right after Crescent Guard does drop. And that means there's no spike, no Baron potential. So in the end, it actually just ends up being a 1-for-2 trade. Excuse me, I thought it was 1-for-1. A 1-for-2 trade, but overall, it's kind of acceptable for J-Team. They still maintain a lot of vision control over onto the Baron side, and crucially this time around, the mirror mana is here, so they will start to hurt with this poke. And if you look at Kai Wing, he's not going to be able to get his Aftershock on before taking a lot of damage, so he still is a viable target.
They're trying to bait from two fronts here. Bay and Kai Wing both not even moving right now, waiting for the hook, for the Shadow Surge,
could be a flash.
Death Charge. But I think J-Team are waiting as well. Oh, it's like a game of chicken, Clement. Who's going to blink first? Kai Wing, he sidesteps and immediately tries to follow. Oh, J-Team, run. Run for the hills.
Oh, that was so decisive from Kai Wing. I'm just so amazed that he's been able to sidestep 2 of these while having no vision. Like, it's just... He's definitely very aware of the shenanigans.
Absolute game sense. I mean, Kai Wing is... I stand by the statement I made at the start of the split. I think until proven otherwise, Unified Kai Wing, the strongest duo in the PCS right now. Part of that's from Unified, part of it is Kai Wing is just an absolute positional monster.
I'm not sure if it was luck or something. It's just he should
all calculated
in that play, but he manages to survive. I'm not sure if it was great, you know. Because like in that sort of situation, it's actually pretty hard for Bay to actually chase over terrain. It means his follow-up is difficult. But PSG, they're done waiting. They're just gonna go right ahead.
I mean, they got a Jinx, right? You can shred this pretty quickly. I mean, they clearly want the fight, because look where Bay's at right now. They're going to keep it aggroed, but J-Team, they are not falling for the bait. They're going to get that vision ward down, or that control ward down. This may turn into a smite fight, but now they do it! Got a little too curious, and in goes Bay to delete Driver off the map. Enzo trying to cover his team's escape, and the flank is routed as Kongye steps on a Flame Chomper. Oh dear.
Oh, they just don't have the damage here to kill anyone, and look at how hard the engage is for Kongre and Uniboy. They just can't find an angle to go into these team fights.
Yeah, there we go. Bay once again. Actually gonna get shut down. That's pretty big here. They're gonna have to peel off the Baron. That was a little greedy.
Okay, Juhan and Bay. That's one apiece, alright? No more. You guys had a great team fight, but everything afterwards has been a little bit iffy.
You're allowed one tactical in per game on PSG. It's a nice benefits package.
Yeah, I still love the angle of engage from Bay onto the back line right there. Again, J-Team, they have a lot of very squishy carries there that they can engage on. And you can see the Death's Daughter is right there, cutting off Driver from escaping. The damage is enough. Hanabi chases in. There's a good bit of tit for tat coming in from Little V, but Kongre doesn't get to get into this fight whatsoever. Just one auto attack from Kai Wing, and Kongre is likely a dead man. And that's what I love about this Nautilus pick over the Yuumi. It's just so detrimental here. Now, Bait does have the fear, and he flashes for one. I think, yeah, Bait just definitely misplayed that. When you flash, you definitely want to get the backward fear. Doesn't find that, and somehow Unified dodges everything and continues to charge forward.
Oh! And Kai Wing from downtown manages to land a hook and huge rocket from Unified to finish the kill. Hanabi helps with another one on that on-hit. We had a bit of a slow start, but I think we are all action all the time here. PSG just cleaning house on the map now.
Unified is immune to skill shots. He just can't target this guy with his cleanse available, and I also love the purchase of the BT just to keep himself even extra healthy and make sure he's not prone to poke. It's just so hard for J-Team to find an angle. I really feel like they needed to go all in on skirmishes a little bit more in the early game. Uniboy is spotted out here, and Bay still doesn't have the Shadow Surge, but he's going in regardless.
It's still a little dangerous. Charm gonna just go over the Baron right now. Bay and Hanabi a little bit low. They're going to commit to this. It is a 3-man, but there's a smite available. Not anywhere near there, though, so it's going to be smited down by Juhan, and Looked like it could have been some risky business, but they do manage to get away. Baron established, Cloud Soul secured. PSG looking to take those boxes and take yet another win.
I just want to see the start of that dance. When we got on the screen, again, it was Unified walking away from the Ahri. It seemed like he dodged everything. Had to burn the cleanse, but, you know, got one back as Kaiwing just showed up out of nowhere and hooked someone down into the depths. We're going to get another replay of that one. So it was a three-man chase onto Unified. He walks away point blank from the stun on Kongyue.
How did he do that? This guy's insane! He's so good at this game. I don't believe it.
How did that? Huh?
Yeah.
I think that was Gale Force animation that didn't show up.
No, it looked like it. I was like, I think that's what that is. But like, he's a pixel away from dying.
Oh, so incredibly cool. Definitely it was the Gale Force. Okay, there's no way that you could walk away from that distance. So a little bit of a visual bug, but still impressive.
Yeah, Kaiwing's just. I mean, I harped on him in week 1 when they had their one loss because his positioning was just so unusually iffy. But now Hanabi, being a little bit of bait, flashes away, opens up the opportunity for PSG to take the inhibitor tower, and it's just clean, methodical play from them. Hanabi's right back with the second wave of minions. They should be able to easily finish the job. With the barrels, it keeps J-Team from really getting much done, and like, J-Team didn't even really play especially bad this game. It's just, man, PSG Talon are good at League of Legends.
The skill shots missing on both sides. They flash each other an emote, and now the big thing is Bay has his Shadow Surge up again. So many free targets here. Driver Kongyue. I don't think Uniboy still has that Zhonya just yet. So, and Unify just daring them to come in.
Yeah, he is. And Juhan on the front lines right now. Going to keep them at bay for the time being in the Crescent Guard. Rocket splits the uprights. Doesn't really matter because they're able to fully delete at least Enzo and Lil V off the map. And here comes the push as PSG lead the minions in a march to try and finish the job today and earn win number 12 in 13 games. Unified is absolutely unstoppable. That's right, he is. And that's going to be the Nexus in 32 minutes. PSG Talon take the win.
Beautiful game from PSG. They go on